Hello everybody, my name's Angus, and making my 10 hours in on MX Bikes video. More than anything, I'm actually just kind of making this as a thank you and maybe a guide to anybody out there who's looking to get into MX Bikes. And if you're anything like me, I literally bought and returned this game, I think 3 to 4 separate times before I went to return it the last time, even because I was frustrated and crashing and couldn't get anywhere. And I had run out of time, so I officially owned it. So it was time to figure out how to play the game, and that was last week. And I'm now technically 13 hours in, but we'll call it the 10 hours in video because that's what people do that I've seen. But more than anything, I just wanted to say, if you're like me and you grew up, or I guess in college I was playing Reflex and those types of games, and as we know, the new Supercross games and stuff like that, they're really on rails, and it's hard to feel like there's anything you're doing. I don't know, you just feel really numb and like you're just kind of pushing buttons and you're not actually dictating what the bike is doing. I don't know, that's just how I feel on all of the new games. Basically from, Alive wasn't as bad, but after Reflex, even Alive felt really just, on rails. Ugh, I'm still new and still pretty crappy at the game, so bear with me. But yeah, I kept going back to this game, watching YouTube videos, and I would just basically rage off and return it and say, yeah, game's just, it's not for me. Because I will tell you, if you're new, the low speed physics are rough, and it's not something you ever really get good at. There's really no way to get good at some of the wonky, uphill physics and low speed physics that exists within the game. It's just one of the goofy parts of the physics at the moment. But yeah, just more than anything, I figured I'd put this video out hey, if you lean on this community, and that's mainly why I said I wanted to put this video out, is there are some awesome people on YouTube who make content. I wrote down a few just that I remember watching regularly, who make content that help you out, show you how to install mods. This is a modded track. I just downloaded this tonight. This track's a lot of fun. It's called Widowmaker, I think. But yeah, it's really fast. It's not the most technical or difficult track in the world, but it's super fun. I think my favorite track at this point is Farm 14, I think is what it's called, but that one is, as of currently in baby MX Bikes career, that is my current favorite. But this one is super fun. It's just fast. But yeah, those guys on the YouTube community that I'd really like to thank more than anything, because if it wasn't for these guys, I'd have a $30 game I don't play. But yeah, so a couple of guys off the top of my head is Troyjannn, if that's how you pronounce it. If not, I'm sorry I butchered your name. Lynds, and oh man, who's the other one? ReaperDoc. Oh my god. Ugh, I might still crash. I'm gonna crash. Yep. Whoopsies. But yeah, so I'm still getting used to the game. But yeah, those guys, Troyjannn, ReaperDoc, Lynds, if you're new, go watch their videos. They're super helpful. A big part of this game, if I was to give you some guidance, would be to don't try to play in third person. As someone coming from Reflex, that's all I wanted to do. I wanted to see my cool whips. It's so hard to play in third person when you don't understand the game yet, because you're not aware how far you're leaning the bike. So a lot of times you'll just tuck the front wheel. So just go first person and move your field of view back. That also helps with the sensation of speed. I'll flash my settings up. They're probably not the settings you should use, because again, they're mine 10 or 13 hours in, so there's probably more optimal settings. But a lot of the settings I got from those guys or guys on YouTube making content. So just, if you're trying to get good at this game, it's tough. It takes some time to learn. If you struggle through, though, I will tell you, man, I'm addicted. It's all I've done for the last week is play this game. Big part of it, too, is getting and installing yourself some mods. I downloaded this track and the OEM bikes, like I said, tonight, and man, it just makes the game so much better. And like I said, I downloaded that Farm 14. But yeah, just trying to kind of learn some of these new tracks you see everybody playing online. And man, they're fun. There's some really cool tracks. Really cool. These OEM bikes that ride so much better than the ones that are default in the game. They're just so much easier, so much faster. I don't know if they're necessarily easier, but they are certainly faster. Whoops, overcorrected there. But yeah, sorry, I'm trying to talk and play, and when you're not very good at a game and you're trying to talk and have coherent thoughts, it's a tough ball game to try to right in here. But yeah, some other things that I don't feel like the community talks about a lot. You may see it in some of those videos from those creators I was telling you about. If you look in the bottom right next to my gear where it says third gear right now, you see a Ryder sit stand animation pop up. That's not something that's super obvious when you start playing the game, but man, is that important. Sitting and standing, moving your rider's position, it makes cornering better, it makes it more stable, it adds a speed. There's a lot of nuance to flicking that on and off. I've seen some guys, like, especially in Supercross, you watch them go through a rhythm and they'll literally tap that thing for every lander just to kind of work the body around and shift the weight around. So it's kind of wild. But yeah, there's a setting to make it visible there. You're gonna have to get good at standing, sitting, and toggling it. But that right there is a game changer. Realizing that setting even exists, because you know, from reflex you just kind of move the joystick and your rider stands and sits, etc. But yeah, it's definitely something you need to be aware of, and you need to, you know, learn when to sit and when to stand. For the most part, landing, get sat, go through a corner like I'm sitting right now. I'm sitting, I'm going to stand right at the last second to, you know, jump, land, still standing, and I'm probably going to run this whole thing standing, but like for this really choked down corner, I'm going to go into the sitting, accelerate out, I'm up off my seat again, standing, still standing, threw a fat little whip there. And then now I'm coming to the braking up, so you see I sit back down, and it just helps the corner so much better. It may not be the fastest way. Again, I'm not the fastest guy on earth, but yeah, so first person only, move the field of view back, get some settings that work for you. I would strongly recommend against using like the assisted leaning and stuff like that, because I feel like that's probably, like, if you're serious and you want to get fast, like, all that's probably going to do is get you some bad habits. I beat my ghost, yay. But yeah, yeah, and then again, watch guys like Troyjannn, Lynds, the community members on YouTube. There's tons of great content creators out there, and if you invest the time, this game is an absolute blast. But yeah, so this is me 10 hours in. I'm not very good, so me playing is more just me wanting to talk about the game and have something on screen that's, if anything, comical, sometimes entertaining. I don't know. But here's my settings. I'll flash them up super quick so you can take some screenshots. Field of view, I cranked it. I don't use lean help. I do use shift help and auto clutch. I saw a lot of people using that. I'll go through my other stuff, inputs. One thing I did switch is I put lean on the left stick. A lot of these other ones, these are going to be dependent on your settings. But yeah, thank you to the MX Bikes community. It's been a lot of fun. I've been playing for a week, and I am completely addicted. Also, the KTM rips, which I found out about 20 minutes ago. So, thank you so much, and I look forward to making more content and having more fun on MX Bikes.